You know exactly what this is. Let's get into it. First up, we've got the Spirit. The Spirit is the first one. It's just sort of like in the middle, no opinion, because, you know, it's just a spirit. That's what it is. It's just the basic ghost. It doesn't need improvement. It's not poor. It is what it is. You need a basic ghost. You just have to. So Spirit goes in B tier, right in the middle. Next up, Wraith. Wraith, in my opinion, is another B tier. You know, it's again, it's just another basic ghost. It has a really decent ability where it can just teleport to you, but it's really easy to figure out, and it's not got any other particular strengths about it. So yeah, Wraith goes in right next to Spirit there. Phantom. Again, the Phantom is just such a mid-tier ghost because it has the flickering during a hunt. It has, you can take a photo of it and it disappears. It can roam to you, which is good, but it's not like, it's not out of this world. It's just sort of like, it's just sort of okay, you know. But this is what you're gonna have with like the earlier ghosts. All of the earlier ghosts are just basic ghosts with a few different abilities and tells about them. But now we get to the good one. There's finally a good ghost now. The Poltergeist. Poltergeist is an A tier. It's a fun ghost. Getting a Poltergeist, building the pile, seeing all the items get thrown about, it's good. It's fun. Everyone likes it. I don't really think there's anything wrong with the Poltergeist. I think it works as intended. It's fine the way it is. It doesn't need changing. It's a good ghost. Next up, the Banshee. It's the best. Banshee is the best. Banshee is just the best. That ability where it can just roam to you, and it will stalk you, and it will only target one person in a team, and it will only attack one person in a team, is great. It's such a good ability. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but in my very biased opinion, the Banshee is the best. The Djinn. I'm really not sure where to put the Djinn. At one point, I think it's like here. Some points it could be here, but then at other times it could be there. Do you know what? I'm going to put it in A because it is a good ghost with some good abilities. The 25% sanity drain is good. It needs fixing. The speed up before it gets close to you is good. You know, it's not a bad ghost. It's better than whatever's in B tier, and it isn't poor, and it doesn't need improvement. It just needs fixing. Mare. Revenant. It's a fun ghost. It's fun. It's scary. It goes in A tier. It belongs in A tier. It's unfortunately not an S tier. It is like, it's one of the cult classics of Phasmophobia ghosts. Everyone knows what the Revenant is. Everyone knows what the Revenant's capable of. Is it the best? Not anymore. The Shade. In my opinion, the Shade is mid. No opinion. I mean, it's just an average ghost that can't really do much if you're in the same room as it. It's not poor. It is poor, but it works as intended. It doesn't need any improvement because it's works as intended. You know, it's got no problems with it. The Demon. Easily an S tier. The Demon is one of the best ghosts in the game. The ability to hunt at any sanity is crazy. It changes the way you think about playing the game. If you were to start a game and you know full well that the first thing you're going to see is a demon, you're taking a crucifix with you, no matter what. Or at least you're taking a smudge stick and a lighter, because it's going to hunt you. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. You can't take sanity pills. You can't hold a candle and hope that it doesn't hunt. It can just hunt at 100 sanity. So therefore, it goes in the S tier. Yore. I want to get a trend starting on Twitter. Hashtag justice for Yore. Because at the moment, Yore bitch. Sorry, it has to be said. Yores are terrible. They have that one ability that can drain your sanity a little bit, but it only does like 15 or 20%. It's the same as like a ghost event. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen, like, in my personal opinion, it doesn't happen often enough. There's no hunting strength. there's no hunting ability, there's no special hunting sanity range, there's no speed up, there's no anything. The only thing it has is that it can be smudged and it will stay in a room for 90 seconds or whatever it is, which just isn't good enough. Yoreis need fixing. They need improvement. Fix the Yoreis. Hashtag justice for Yore. Oni. Everyone can agree that Oni is fun. Loads of ghost events. Can drain your sanity in seconds. Oni can do 2 ghost events and you're down, what, like 60 sanity? Maybe even more. What's not to love? And now they have that ability where they flicker more during hunts. It's a good ability. Yokai. Placing the yokai is tough. At one point I think it needs improvement, but then the other time I just think, does it work as intended? I'm going to put it in needs improvement because the way it works during a hunt, if you're out of the 2 meter radius of the ghost, it won't be able to detect your electronic equipment or hear you. And it also has an ability where it can hunt at like 80 sanity or something like that if you're speaking near it, but you pretty much have to be on top of it, and it doesn't always happen. I've tested it loads of times with motion sensors, and I just can't get the yokai to hunt early. It just doesn't happen. So for this reason, I'm putting it in needs improvement because I think they need to really seriously buff it. Yokai has Spirit Box as an evidence. If you get a response on the Spirit Box, it should have a chance to trigger a hunt, just like that, in my opinion. But it doesn't. It's kind of poor. It's kind of like, it's the sort of ghost you can bully. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in needs improvement. Hantu. I don't know, you know. I feel like everyone thinks the Hantu's fun, and I just don't see it. The cold speed is good, don't get me wrong. So I guess it is kind of like fun, but it's one of those where it's sort of like it's in there and it's just falling. It's clinging onto A tier by its life. So I am going to put it in A tier, but it is clinging onto A tier for its life. The speed up during the cold is good, it's clever, but other than that, there isn't really anything to it. So that reason it just scrapes A tier. Just. Part of me thinks it could even fall into C tier, where it does need an improvement, because it's I think it needs to be a lot faster in the cold. I think it needs to be ridiculously fast in the cold. Goyo. Again, poor ghost. Needs improvement. I don't think anyone actually likes the Goyo. I don't think you'll find anyone whose favourite ghost is a Goyo, put it that way. The lack of roaming is good, but the dots through a camera, again, it's niche and it's good, but there's nothing gets you excited about having a Goyo. It's just like, oh, it's a Goyo, let's just pack up and leave. I'm not even going to bother doing objectives. It's a Goyo. So for that reason, it's poor. I don't think it needs improvement. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it works as intended, but it's just poor. Myling. Again, it's another poor, needs improvement sort of ghost. The flashlight and the silence during a hunt, I think that needs to be ramped up massively. I think it needs to be to where the point of like the yokai. So the 2 meter radius where it can't hear, I think the Myling needs a 2 meter radius where it is silent, and then when it gets in within that 2 meters, it should be apparent. So you shouldn't be able to hear the Myling hunting until it's like literally on top of you, in my opinion, just to make it a bit scarier. The paranormal sounds during using the parabolic microphone, it's one of those things where it's like it's so RNG that it's hard to test for. So I think it needs to either have that seriously ramped up, or it needs to just get something else, because it's not great. There's been games where I've used the parabolic microphone and within the first 2 seconds I've gotten a parabolic noise, but the Mylings apparently meant to make them do them more, and I've had games where Mylings have just not done them for like 30 seconds. So, you know, improve it or scrap it. Onryo. It's fun. It is fun. It's fun to sort of like try and stop it from hunting. It can be scary and it can be difficult, but it's possible, and it is quite fun to bully them. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to bully the Onryo into not being able to hunt. But again, it's much like the Hantu, it's just sort of clinging on to A tier for its life. There's not really much you can do with it. It works as intended, and it's a pretty decent ghost. So I'm not gonna bully it any more than I already do. I'm just gonna leave it in A tier, and that's enough said about the Onryo. Twins, B, mid tier. I don't think they're fun. I think it works as intended. It's kind of annoying sometimes, where you can have the twin do something somewhere else, and you can get yourself all confused. The hunting thing is good. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that one is slower than the other and one's faster. That's good. That's how it should be. But other than that, the twin interactions, it's just basic ghost, isn't it? There's nothing really exciting about it. You don't go, oh, it's the twins. That's fun. It's just sort of like, it's the twins. Ryu. I mean, the Ryu goes in A tier. It is a scary ghost. It can hunt early at 65 sanity. Around electronic equipment, it's faster. If you get a Ryu close enough to you and you've got a flashlight or a camera, it speeds up. That's scary. That's good. It doesn't really have a weakness either, you know? It's the only weakness it sort of has is that it can flicker equipment from a further range, which isn't really a weakness. It's just sort of like a tell. So for that reason, Ryu goes in A tier. It's a strong ghost. Obake. Obake is here. Obake is here. If you'd have asked me previous update where the Obake was, I would have said here. But now that it has that flickering, where it can change ghost model during a hunt, it's scraping S tier, because that is so good. That is what people have wanted since the Obake became a thing, and now we finally have that shape shifting, so it lives up to its flavor text. That's good. It goes in fun, because seeing it shapeshift is like, oh, it's an Obake, you know. It's good to see. No other ghost does anything like that, so it is good to see. Mimic, hate it. Hate the Mimic. The fact that it can be any ghost, fine. It can be a banshee, it can be a demon. I still hate it. I still hate the Mimic. It has its place, don't get me wrong. It's not fun though. It's not scary. It's just sort of one of those where it's like, oh, it's a Mimic. Do you know what I mean? Getting a Mimic leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Because, yeah, I'd rather get a ghost than have a Mimic, if that makes sense. I think the fact that it always has orbs, that it always has like 4 evidence, I think it's too easy. I think it ruins a bit of the mystique. So I think if you were to take away the orbs, or take away one of its evidence and give it orbs, I think it would make the Mimic a much harder ghost. Because if you think about it, if you have a Mimic, Mimics change their ghosts quite often. You know, you can have a Mimic that changes its ghost a couple of, like 2 or 3 times before it hunts. And then it might change its ghost another 2 or 3 times before it hunts again. So I think you should have another way to figure out that it's a Mimic, rather than just, oh, there's 4 evidence, or there's 3 evidence on Nightmare or whatever. I think you need to have something else that tells you this is a Mimic. Don't get me wrong, it is a good ghost, and I do like it, and I think it has its place, but other than that, no, it's the worst. Moroi. I mean, it's a scary ghost. Full speed Moroi is the fastest ghost in the game, and that is terrifying. It's scary. The ability that it has with the spirit box, where it can just keep draining your sanity if you don't take a sanity pill, is good. It makes you think. As soon as you get a spirit box response, my immediate thought is this a Moroi? Do I need to take a pill? So for that reason, it goes in the scary category. Ryokan, the best. Ryokans are so good. They're not fun and scary, because they're not scary. They are fun, but they're not scary. They're just good. They're better than good. They are great. They work as intended. They have no real downside to them. They're meant to be, you know, super fast and then slow. It makes you think, you know, if you've possibly got a Ryokan, it makes you go, right, do I need to get somewhere where I can easily loop a ghost? Do I need to get out of this corner that I'm stuck in? Do I need a smudge stick in case I do get stuck in a corner? Should I hide? Should I not hide? You know, it's a good ghost, and it deserves its place up there. And last but not least, the tie. Where do I put the tie? Because it's not the best. it's a good ghost. It's a very good ghost. I don't think it deserves to be in mid either, because it's got more to it than that. No, it belongs in the fun tier and the scary tier, because the fact that it can hunt at 75 sanity is scary. The fact that it starts off super fast is scary. And then the fact that you spend more time around it, it becomes slower and less active, is fun. So yeah, it does deserve to be in A tier. It is a good ghost. It's a good idea for a ghost, and it deserves its place there. So yeah, that is my tier list for the ghost in Phasmophobia. No doubt in about a month or so they'll probably add another ghost, and this will become out of date like every single video I seem to make about ghosts. They change it. So expect an update soon, and expect everything to be changed and flipped around, and the Mimic will soon become the best ghost in the game, and the Spirit will be the best ghost, and demons will be terrible. Just every time. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.